Good morning. Yes. Whether it is audible?
Good morning, sir.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, yes. Is around 34 people, 35 people joined. We'll start our session. And for today's lecture, I request some people to join with us till the end from 86, roll number 86 to 104. You please unmute your mic and you please join with us till the end. 84, 86, 88, 90, 92, 94, and 96, 98, 100, 102, and 104. Patil, Pranish, Bhavya, Santosh, Shubham Kumar, and Sunil. And you please unmute your mic. You please join with us till the end.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Yes, I think all of you got your marks through your Google Classroom, and there are flaws in the presentation. The first thing I want to share with you is the timing. There are major number of students uploaded your answer script beyond the time, and this is what the first time I can accept. But in near future, you please keep your time slot in a rigid way and upload the answer script within this stipulated time. See, in university, in the final examination for 2 hours, we are giving 30 minutes to upload the answer script. Accordingly, in the CET, we were given 15 minutes. Still, you are struggling to upload the answer script within the 15 minutes. I think the major number of students spent much time with the first question itself. You are taking too much of time for detailing the hydroelectric power plant. That was the major issue, and the rest you were presented in ARG. And so you please plan early in, before starting itself. Read all the questions. You plan accordingly. Each question should be carried around 12 minutes. If you are spending 12 minutes for a question, it is far enough, and it will be around 60 minutes. Then you can upload your answer. That was the first thing. And the second thing is the originality. You read the content which was given in the PPT and present the contents on your own. A few people, my appreciation for the few people, they were got very few. They were got minimum marks, but the presentation is own on their own language. They were presented. My appreciation for those people. And the number of peoples are repeating the same content is. See, your UG students, and that too with your NATNs, you should present the things on your own. That was the expectation. The second thing, and the third thing, I have already detailed in some the instruction also I have given, and present draw the content with the pencil. Use pencils to present the diagrams. Don't use pens. and the first leave the first page for your basic information. So you started presenting content in the first page itself, and in the I think it won't be repeated in the subsequent CTs. And do you want to get any clarification with that, or you make a message and I'll some people requested where I lost the marks. I have replied. I have given the slate up for them, and that was the thing. Anything related to CT?
Sir, what is the marking
So
scheme
if we
for
check a paper, what should we do?
Arun, little
sir,
louder, Arun.
what is the marking scheme for theory and drawing part, sir?
Usually, my expectation for the yeah, for diagram you will get around 3 marks, and
Okay.
theory 2 marks, and some people are present to theory alone, but the content is good. Then I have awarded even 3.5 like that.
Okay, sir.
Uh,
So if we want to check a paper, what should we do, sir?
you want to check up the paper? Yes. Pardon, I didn't get you, Maitri.
Sir, like if I want to check my paper, what should I do? Like where I lost mark.
Yes, you make a message. I'll in a private mode. I'll share your split ups so that
Okay,
you can cross check where you lost your marks
okay, sir.
in particular to that particular question that you can identify. In the CT1, I didn't consider the originality. And see, your UG students, you should write on your own. Since if even if it is an open book test, and we are not expecting to do so, now there is no way. Write on your own. Read the content. Write on your own. Use your own words to describe those contents. That was good. So that was the expectation in CT2 as well in the end semester. And okay, we'll start today's content. Today we'll see the unit 5, that is um, just a minute, I'll share the PPT. Is my slides are visible? Check whether.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Today we will see the tidal power plant, geothermal, and ocean thermal energy conservation. That was our unit 5, and we'll see these contents in the today's lecture. In the meantime, we will discuss the current affair, and we'll start the today's lecture with the geothermal. And we were already detailed about the basic informations related to geothermal. That is in order to eliminate the pollution, that is without polluting the environment, how we can generate power. That was the major concern for in the recent scenario, and due to the collaboration or due to the various confederation with the various countries, what they are now thinking, they are trying to produce the electrical power without polluting the nature and without polluting the environment. And we have the sun provides the enormous energy, and similarly we have very hot area, that too with the interior of the earth, and geothermal that originates from the earth, fairly consolidation of dust and gas, which is over 4 billion years ago. It was settled, and at the earth core that is 4,000 miles deep, the temperatures may reach over 9,000 degree Fahrenheit, and the scientists think over this issue and try to generate the power. And how is the geothermal energy generated? The temperature, that is the earth, by a slowly decay of radioactive particles, it becomes hotter than the sun's surface. The most of common method that scientists use to find the geothermal reservoirs is drilling deep well and testing the temperature of the deep underground. And usually what we do the deep drilling over the earth surface, and we are trying to utilize that the hot source of that deep well. And there are two possibilities. One is steam or very hot water from deep well within the earth is piped to the surface, and it was used as a heat source to produce the electrical power. And the that was the kinetic energy of the earth, which is converted into electricity. And what can we do with the heat? The conventional geothermal plant captures hot water from the geysers, and there are some places naturally we are having heat source, and that with that heat source we are trying to produce powers. And geysers are steam from the vents to spin the turbine. Now to spin the turbine, we are trying to utilize these heat sources, whether it might be a geyser or it might be a steam. And see, this was the picture which details about the depth in the kilometer and the temperature in Celsius. And around 2000 kilometer deep, it was around 2000 degrees Celsius. When it was 4000, around we are having 4000 degrees Celsius. And when it went to around 6000 kilometer, it is around 5000 degrees Celsius. See how the even in today's even after many years, went, there are deep hot. The earth core is still hot. That heat we are trying to utilize with some type of technique, that was the geothermal. And see, the natural reservoirs, whether it might be a geyser. See, this is what the geyser, the boiling mud or volcano, or the hot spring, which can be suspected in the area where we find the reservoir. That should be, we can utilize as in geothermal reservoirs. And these reservoirs, that is the rising hot water and steam is trapped into permeable and porous rocks to form a geothermal reservoirs. This can be discovered by testing the soil, either by testing the soil or analyzing the ground underground temperature. We can identify those reservoirs. And the extraction and uses should be the earth surface, whether directly from the hot spring we can utilize the heat energy, and or by doing the geothermal heat pump, we can utilize these sources. But the use are broadly classified as direct use or indirect use. And this is what the direct use of geothermal energy during winter and summer. Winter, we are trying to increase the temperature, and during summer we want to reduce the temperature with the aid of geothermal heat pump. There is a pump which is used to drive the water, and it was sent to the hot well, which is surrounded by a temperature of 18 degrees Celsius. At that time, what happened? This 18 degrees Celsius will circulate over the required area, and it will disseminate that 18 degrees Celsius to the atmosphere. And again, it was sent to the deep well. And by doing repeating this operation, we can increase the temperature from either 10 or below 10 into 18 degrees Celsius. It was on the other hand, we are trying to decrease the temperature during some summer. See, in Tamil Nadu, during summer the temperature would be around normally it would be in 37 degrees Celsius. It went to around 41, even 42 in some days. And in order to have a comfort environment, what we are trying to do, we are trying to reduce the temperature till 18 degrees Celsius, or even 16 in some air conditioning system they are providing 16, and this can be achieved through the natural system, that is with the aid of geothermal heat pump. The 18 degree temperature is surrounded and it was disseminated to the closed environment. By that we can use the geothermal in a direct way, and this is what the picture depicts. And see the indirect use of geothermal, and this is what we are trying to utilize the power, the electricity generation. And what we are trying to do, the reservoir rocks having either steam or hot water, and that hot water is used to drive the turbine. Again, it was sent to the hot belt, and we are trying to utilize the energy of the steam in the prime mover, so that we are trying to increase the power. And see, this is what the general pictorial representation of the geothermal power plant. We have, I'll explain one by one. We have the steam pipe. It was as a example, it was given in 1,000 meters, and the steam pipe is connected to the control device in order to regulate it. It was provided, and usually this steam has debris. In order to separate those debris, we are providing a separator. Then it was sent to the steam drum. Mm. Then the steam is sent to the turbine, and once it was the energy was utilized, then it is sent to the hot well through the condenser. Once it was condensed, it is pumped and then it is sent to the deep well. And I'll explain one more time in a detailed way. There are certain pipes are embedded at the place of hot spring in the earth interior, which is called as an steam well. This is called as a steam well. By sending the water through the embedded pipes, the steam is raised from the underground steam storage well to the ground level, and this steam is then passed through the separator, and where the debris, that is dirt and sand, carried by the steam or separated, and it was removed here, and then the steam from the separator is passed to the steam drum, and it is used to run the turbine here, which drives the generator. And the exhaust steam from the turbine is condensed here, and the condensate is pumped into the earth to absorb the ground heat again and to get converted into steam. And the maximum power generation by geothermal power plant is 500 megawatt in New Zealand, and in India, hot springs are available in Jammu and Kashmir and Himachal Pradesh. And we'll discuss subsequently. We will discuss the advantages and disadvantages at the end. And see, there are three different types of power plants is usually available with the content related to geothermal. One is dry steam power plant. The second one is flash steam power plant. The third one is binary cycle power plant. And this was the dry steam. The dry steam alone, usually the hot well containing dry. See here, this is what the oldest type of geothermal, and this type geothermal reservoir containing the pure steam is in order to drive the prime mover, we need pure steam. But the pure dry steam utilized here, and possibly it won't be in nature. Dry steam won't be available with the hot well, and there are some other impurities is also associated with the dry steam. But if it is so, it was the earlier model, and this is what the oldest type of geothermal, and the pure dry steam used to drive the turbine, This type of power plant is not common because the natural hydrothermal reservoir dry steam are very rare. And the operating, this is what operating at California, Italy, and Japan. And the steam, that is drive steam is utilized here not to drive the turbine. Once it was utilized in the turbine, then it is sent to the condenser, not to condense it, not to drop the temperature, and then it was sent to the well. See, there is a terminology called injection well. This is what the production well. And generating, we have the generating facility, and we are utilizing this mechanical power in order to get the electricity. We are driving this prime movers with the drive steam. And concerning the second one, this is what the flash steam power plant. See here, we have two different circuits here. This is what the primary, and this is what the secondary circuit. And here we have the sea water, and the that is the sea water, that is the salt water, that is we were trying to get the source, and the steam was separated here, and that steam was sent to the turbine. To drive the turbine, the steam alone sent, and this is what the flash steam power plant. Here, this is what the commonly used geothermal power plant, and this reservoir containing both hot water and the steam. And at this hot water flows up through well in the ground. It is collected in the flash tank, and this is what the flash tank arrangement here. And where the drop in pressure causes the liquid to boil into the steam. The pressure changing system is required. This is what operating at Hawaii, Nevada, Utah, and some other places. And the last one is binary cycle power plant. And here a heat exchanger is provided. Through the heat exchanger, we are trying to transfer the heat from one place to another place, and therefore there won't be any direct liquid transfer, and there won't be any direct steam or dry steam or any wet steam which is associated to drive the turbine. And we are trying to utilize the heat with the aid of heat exchangers, and does not use steam directly to rotate the turbine. And here the isobutane or pentafluorate fluoropropane, that is, we are already aware about it during your school days. You have studied that is C4H4 is an isobutane which has the boiling temperature of around minus 11.7 degrees Celsius, and the concerning pentafluoropropane, that is C3H3 and F5 pentafluoro, therefore does 5 fluorine content, and C3H3 and F5, which has a boiling temperature of 15.3 degrees Celsius. By the way, by replacing this fluid, this fluid can be used to rotate the turbine, because the hot well has the temperature greater than these temperatures, and by achieving even the 37 degrees, when it was exposed to atmosphere, it will in our area, that is around 37 degrees Celsius. What happened? The pentafluoropropane will convert into from liquid, it convert into gas, and so that it uses to drive the prime mover. And this fluid vaporized to steam, which drives the turbine, then condense to liquid to begin the cycle again. And the water which never comes into direct contact, as I already said, with the working fluid, is then injected back into the ground to be reheated. Since the most resources are with the low temperature, the binary steam power plant or common use, and that is the world accepted and this is what the universal accepted geothermal power plant. And concerning the cost, it was absolutely cheaper than the other energy resources. But on the other hand, certain factors to be considered. One is temperature and the depth of the resource, the types of resource, that is steam, liquid, or mixed type of resource what we are going to drive the mechanism. The available volume of the resource is a major factor, and the size and technology of the plant, and the initial cost is matters a lot. And in India we have the major source in northwest, the Himalayas, and see the temperature of geothermal is around 400 degrees Celsius and greater than 7 degrees Celsius. And see here some areas we are having geothermal sources in northeast Himalayas are also having. And see here, and there are certain areas in west coast also we are having the sources like geothermal. And see, in the most promising six geothermal energy sites in India is available in Chhattisgarh, Jammu and Kashmir, Gujarat, Himachal Pradesh, Jharkhand, and the other areas are the major concern about geothermal, or the Himachal, again Jammu, and the see the western coastal region in island related to Andaman Nicobar, and the Gujarat, and coastal region of Gujarat and Jharkhand, and these are some major geothermal provinces in India, and the government are having plan to erect the geothermal, and near future we'll have the plans in these areas. And see here, this is what the picture detailing the major geothermal spots. And in northeast, and northwest and southeast of Himalayan arc, we are having the resources, and Gondwana, Brabants and Delhi folds also we have, and the west coast uh, continental margin also we are having the source. And this was the geothermal well depth drilled in different regions in India, around 6 till 620 meters we were approached in Chhattisgarh, and we went to around 728 in Tapoban, and it was in Jammu and Kashmir, it was around 220 meters. And the potential resources in other areas are see here, the temperature is around greater than 90 degrees Celsius, uh, and there are some other details related to the potential sources and regions. And concerning the advantage, it is available all the year around. The second one is the minimum pollution, and the production cost is cheaper, and no combustion of fuel, and the geothermal is sustainable. And concerning on the other hand, it has demerit, the efficiency is very low, that is around only 15%, and the location of plant and the installation of the equipment like control unit, separator, etc. within the source of heat, and the cost of drilling is also a major concern. And doing drilling over 15,000 meters, see how hard to do the deep drilling, and that was the difficulty over this geothermal. And this is what about geothermal power plant. Do you have any doubts over geothermal? Do you have any doubts?
No, sir.
Yes, yes, yes. We'll discuss the current affairs, and then we'll see what was there in the tidal, and then we'll see ocean thermal energy conservation. And go ahead with the current affairs. See, today we need to complete the tidal as well the OTEC. So go ahead with very in a short in a brief way, you give some information related to current affairs.
Sir, Cyclonias makes landfall in the coast of Odisha.
In which area are you talking about?
Sir, coast of Odisha and West Bengal, the Cyclonias. Yesterday they make landfall there.
Okay. I didn't come across that information, therefore I won't make any comment. Still, but so you go ahead, Subhamkumar.
Sir, and government allowed directly to go to vaccination for people group between 18 to 44. So they don't need to book the slot anymore. They can directly go to vaccination center and get the vaccine.
Yes. Then.
So China is sending its first NASA is sending its first mobile robot on Moon for to search water on the surface of Moon.
When it was sent? Okay.
Sir,
When it was
sir,
sent?
so they will send, sir. They hasn't sent yet, so they will send now.
They are
They
having
have
the plan
decided to send a mobile robot.
mobile robot. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Someone you discuss about the super moon. Supermoon, and there was an issue in California. Around 8 were killed by uh, the colleague in California. In one particular area, 8 were killed by the colleague, and transport in charge, a transport worker who killed around 8 people, and they were closely associated with them, with the person they were killed. And similarly, in Tamil Nadu, there were some hot topic, that is sexual harassment through the through
Sir,
by
like in CV and all, in CV, PSDB and all, like, yeah, like
yes.
when one like some Alagu sir, Wakisan sir, and like one more teacher whom I don't know. There are a few things going on, sir. Like, so right now there is a committee and all they are forming and all of that for inquiring into it.
Yeah, Pranav, is anyone getting the point of Pranav? I didn't get the point. Yes, I think there is an.
Sir?
Actually, his voice is low, sir. That's why we can't hear him properly.
Pranav, you go ahead, Pranav.
Yes, sir.
Little louder. You go ahead. You keep your mic very closer to you and go ahead.
Yeah, so sir, like there is a committee formed in CV for like taking in that matters and all that. Yeah, like there is going to be an inquiry and all of that regarding the matters of that case and all of that. Yeah, so that is existing, sir, right now.
Yes.
Even PSB,
Anyone from studied from that particular school from our?
sir, I studied from CV, sir.
You studied?
Yeah, sir, I studied in CV, sir.
Oh, Pranav, you studied in that school?
Yes, sir, I studied in CV.
From which standard to which standard?
Only 11th and 12th I studied, sir. Like for JE coaching and all, like we had one separate area in that, so there I studied, sir.
During that time, have you come across any such information, Pranav?
When I was there, like, see, I came to know about it only like when this thing started. Like, Wakisan sir used to teach us in lab, but I had never heard of such things about him. But it seems like Wakisan sir was actually a part of Vidya Mandir school, and he got kicked out of that school for the similar reasons. That's like the past history. That's what I heard from a few of my friends who were in Vidya Mandir. Yeah, so that's what. More than that, I don't know much, sir. Like, that's what it is.
Yes, but he was in your school from the last few decades, or in the last decade he worked in your school.
Last decade and all, I don't know, sir. Like, I think like I don't know when he started coming into our school, but I remember that like what my friends told that he was actually a part of Vidya Mandir school, and he got like he was terminated from that school for the similar reasons. That's what I know. I don't know from when he started working in our school and all. Out of all the teachers like who were accused, I knew only Vakisan sir because he was teaching us lab. Other than that, I don't know the other teachers.
Okay,
Because we
fine.
had a separate set of teachers. Like we were taught for JE, so we had a completely different set. They were not belonging to the school also.
Yes, yes. At present, you are staying in which city, Pranav?
Right now, I'm in Hyderabad, sir.
Oh, okay, fine, fine. Pranav did schooling where A.R. Rahman did schooling.
Oh, what, sir?
Where you did schooling because some of your friends Annavad, you did schooling where A.R. Rahman also did his schooling. Am I right?
I don't know, sir. Like, said
A.R.
chestnut,
Rahman.
sir. Like I don't know if A.R. Rahman and all went, sir.
No, no. A.R.
I
Rahman did
heard
school.
some Rana Dagbati was in that school. That's it. Like, I don't know much about that.
Who?
I think Rana Dagbati. I don't know how far it's a rumor or it's true or whatever. Yeah, but that's what I heard from people.
A.R. Rahman also did schooling there. Okay, fine, fine. But we
And
got
also like recently in the cyclone, actually like Prathamesh, he actually outside his house, like he rescued a dog, sir. Like he was stuck in the cyclone. He knew swimming and also he went and like he brought the dog. He like so
who
would like to congratulate him on his public stage like this, sir. Yeah.
who you are talking about whom?
So Prathamesh, sir, Prathamesh.
Ratnesh. Ratnesh.
Yes, sir.
Yes, it was good. It was good. Where you did it so?
Sir, actually, I had gone to my village yesterday. We had a holiday, right? So there in a lake it happened, sir.
It was night. It was good, Pratnesh. Yes, it was. It was the main motto during my classes. During my intro itself, I'll reveal that we need to think over the benefit of human source. That was the main motto of engineering, and even apart from that, that was the human nature. You did it so. It was good.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, appreciations. I think if time permits, even all your friends also will appreciate. Anyway, in some other portal, you appreciate your friend, dear gentleman. And see, in your belongs to which area, Pratnesh?
Sir, I am from Ahmednagar, Maharashtra, near Shirdi. I live near Shirdi.
Okay, okay. You risk those peoples and do you accommodate them in the campus of government campus or what happened?
No, sir, dog, sir, dog, not human, dog.
Oh, fine, 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 good. And see here in Kanyakumari, also it was in some areas the flood happens and people are struggling to survive the normal life, and yeah, that was. Yes, we'll continue our session with the tidal power plant. If time permits, we'll discuss some other matters. And yes. Yes, this is what the tidal power plant. Even in the past classes, also we were discussed some content related to tidal. And anyway, the ocean has a tremendous amount of energy in nature, and the ocean energy that was or it might be called as an ocean power, which is refers to energy carried by the ocean waves, that is tides, and due to the temperature difference, and it was happening, and the ocean have both wave power, that is power from surface waves, and tidal energy, that is kinetic energy of large moving water body, and the potential to deep 20,000 to 80,000 terawatt hours of electricity generated by changes in the ocean temperature, that is all content movements of tides and current waves and swells, and the tidal power, or defined as the as the increase and decrease in the water level due to the motion of the water from one place to another. And this motion of water is actuated by large amount of energy due to the movement of sun, moon and the earth relative to each other, and also their rotational movement. See, the tide, we know the basic principle is the tidal power plant is also called as an hydroelectric power plant, not hydel power plant, hydroelectric. And the tide is the periodic rise. See, the tide is the periodic rise and fall of the water level of the sea, and the tides occur due to the gravitational attraction of sea water by the sun and moon as the earth rotates. The amplitude of the water level variations at different points of the earth depends upon the latitude of the shore. And the highest tide wave occurs when the earth, the sun and the moon are in line. uh, the uh, the tides contain large amount of potential energy which is used to power generation. This is called the tidal power. When the water is above the mean sea level, that is MS, usually called as an MSL, mean sea level, it is called as in flood tide. And there are two different types of levels. One is flood tide, the other one is ebb tide. When the water level is below the mean sea level, that is called as an ebb sea level. You please make a note, there are two different levels. One is flood tide. When it was above the mean sea level, that was called as in flood tide. When it was the sea level was below the mean sea level, and then that is called as an ebb tide. During these two levels, we are trying to utilize the power with high tide. With we are trying to utilize the movement of these tides with some structure. That structure might be called as an tidal power plant. See, this is what the basic structure. This is what the basic structure. When we have the high tide, at that time the water moves from here left side to right side, that is from sea to tidal basin. We have the tidal basin, and when it moves, we are trying to utilize, we are trying to drive the prime mover which is connected to the generator. Then we are getting the power. When the level of the tidal basin is high, at that time water flows from right to left, and that time also we can drive the prime mover. And when it was same, there won't be any power output. And this is what the basic mechanism. And this is what the basic mechanism. The arrangement of the ocean tides rise and fall, and the water can be stored during this rise period. It can be discharged during fall. A dam which is constructed separating the tidal basin from the sea, and the difference in the water level is obtained between the tidal basin and sea. When the tide occurs, the rise of the water increases its potential energy. The potential energy of the water stored in the basin is used to drive the low head reversible water turbine. And during high tide period, the water flows from the sea into the tidal basin, and through the water turbine we are trying to drive the mechanism. The height of the tide is above that of tidal basin. Hence, the turbine unit operates and generates power as it is directly coupled to the generator. This generator converts the mechanical energy into electrical energy. During low tide, the water flows from the tidal basin into the sea, and during that time also we are trying to get the power. See, Kaislaya power plant is one among the power plant which is in Russia, around 250 megawatt capacity. The Rance power plant is another example which is situated in France. And in India, three potential sites which are identified for constructing the tidal power plant. That might be Gulf of Kutch or West Coastal in Gujarat, or East Coastal of the West Bengal. And see, these are the advantage and disadvantage. And see, it was free from pollution, and it is everlasting. And see, the authors written in Tamil, and the might be the authors mother tongue would be Tamil, therefore he written in Tamil. So it is everlasting. The tides is everlasting, and even it is inexhaustible source. And this type of power plant is superior to hydro power plant. And see, this is called as an hydroelectric power plant. Don't confuse with the hydro power plant. It is called as an hydroelectric power plant. The higher output can be obtained when compared with the solar or wind turbines. And on the other hand, we have disadvantage. The minimum tide range required for economic power generation is 0.5 meter. The capital cost is very high even when compared to hydroelectric power plant. See, thermal and hydroelectric power plant, the capital cost of those power plant is very huge. This is what even greater than those that of the thermal and hydroelectric power plants. And the transmission losses may occur. The power plants is the site would be far away from the load centers. Therefore, the transmission losses may occur. And see, the power supply won't be continuous. It purely depends on the timing of the tide. And this is what about the various details about the tidal power plant. And we have barrage, turbine, slices, and this is what the basic cross-sectional view of hydroelectric power plant. When we have the high tide, it was detailed at the top. This is what the low tide. And yes, the Rance River Tidal Power Station. This is what the Siemens Siegen in tidal turbine, and some structures and advantages and disadvantages I have already detailed. Is any clarification over this tidal power plant? Any clarifications? Any doubts?
No,
Shall I go
sir.
ahead with other contents? See, the subsequent title is ocean thermal energy conservation. See, this is what earlier it was introduced by Jacques and during 1981. Then who is the French physicist, and then it was developed by Barjet during 1926. In recent days, that is during 1960, it was redesigned by Anderson. And the closed cycle is sometime, which is this cycle might be called as an Anderson cycle because it was redesigned by him during 1960s. And this is what the basic cycle. See here, I'll explain one by one. This is what the pump. We have the warm surface water intake. It was sent to the evaporator, and then it was the surface water discharged to the ocean bottom. We have the ocean surface and ocean bottom. There are three different cycles. This is what cycle 1. This is what the cycle 2, and this is what the cycle 3 or circuit 1, circuit 2, and circuit 3. In the first cycle, we are trying to pump the ocean surface water from the ocean surface, and it will be between 11 degree to 25 degree. That is surface water. It was taken as an input. It was sent to the evaporator, where we have the working fluid, whether it might be ammonia or it might be a freon. We know ammonia's boiling temperature is very minimal, that is minus 33. See, the minus 33 degrees Celsius, and freon, usually these two are used as an working fluid in the refrigerator on the air conditioning system in our whole household, or it might be industrial air conditioning system, or it might be a refrigerator. The working fluid is either ammonia or freon. It is called as R13 or 22. The boiling temperature of ammonia is around 33 minus 33 degrees Celsius, and Freon has a boiling temperature of minus 29 degrees Celsius. In the second circuit, we are having that working fluid, that either ammonia or Freon. What happens? It takes the temperature from the warm surface water. Then it what happens during that time? It takes the temperature and it converts into vapor. That vapor here. The propane vapor here, propane is also used as an working fluid. But this vapor is used to rotate the turbine, which is coupled to the generator. Then it is sent to the condenser, and the condenser has the cooling water, which is obtained from the bottom of the ocean. It was surrounded and it was trying to cool the propane vapor. Then the propane vapor is converted into liquid. Then that was sent to the evaporator. This cycle repeats again and again, and therefore we are trying to get the power from the ocean thermal energy. And this was the three different cycle. In the first cycle, again I am repeating, the first cycle, the surface water is pumped through the pump, and it will be around temperature of minus 11 to 25 degrees Celsius. Here the propane is used as an working fluid. It was in the evaporator, it was converted into steam. That steam is used to drive the turbine. Then it is sent to the condenser. The condenser is circulated, surrounded by the cold deep water, which is obtained from the ocean bottom, which has a lesser temperature than 11 to 25 degrees Celsius, and it was sent to the condenser. It was surrounded by the condenser. What happened? The propane loses its temperature, and it converts into liquid. Then it is again sent to the evaporator. This condensed, surrounded water is again sent to the ocean surface, and this three cycles repeated again and again now to drive the turbine, and we are getting the power from the generator. This is what happening in the ocean thermal power plant. Anyway, I'll explain in detail in the next class. Also, I'll continue the ocean thermal energy conservation system. Do you have any clarification with these contents? Any clarifications? Any clarifications? Yes, I think there won't be any doubts with these contents. We will continue our session during tomorrow class around 10:30. We will meet. Thank you, Ananda.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.